Cloud. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wellness Cafe with me and Lauren. Thank you so much for choosing to join us today. We are very excited about the two topics that we are bringing in today. We were sitting there thinking, you know, what could we bring to you guys? And then we thought of these two great exercises that we've been doing one-on-one with some clients, and we thought it would be fun to bring it to the group. So thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate having you here. And before I get started, next month, we're going to have another guest host. We're going to have Sherry in, and she's going to bring in a special, what is she going to do? I don't know, something awesome and Sherry-esque. So we do like to bring in guests. Lauren, do you remember what she's going to do? I don't know, something awesome, something that we can't do. So, you know, we do like to share the space. And so next month we'll have Sherry in here, but wanted to thank you again so much for coming. And I'll go first. So let me share. Here we go. As everyone's popping in here, share the screen. All right, you guys, here we go. Oh, where is it? No, that's not it. Hold on. I'm just trying to find the right screen. Oh, Lauren. Why is it not showing me the right screen? Lauren, can you share today? Do you have it up? No? Yeah, hold on. It's I have a lot of other windows open and it wants to like share my taxes with. Oh, here we go. All right. It's like, you guys do not want to see my taxes. All right, hold on. Let's see. Does this work? All right. Do you guys see a slide now? Okay, great. So welcome again to the Wellness Cafe. Here we go. A few slideshow. So we each have one slide each. And so I'm going to go first. And so as a personal trainer, one of the first things I do with people is go over their static posture. So that is how you're standing, you're not moving. Static means not moving. And so I kind of want to just show you these pictures, kind of explain the different things that I look at with people. And this is something that you can take this information, you can take pictures of yourself, you can draw the lines and just kind of get to know your body a little bit. So I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to bring into that cafe. And so let me explain what all of this means. Okay, so our bodies are made for movement. So the way that personal trainers and others look at the body is by 5 different kinetic chains. And so the kinetic chains are different points in your body where joints and like a lot of things come together. So you start at the bottom, looking at the feet and ankles, and then you go up to the knees, and then you go up to the hips. So your pelvis region, the shoulders, and then the head. So you kind of look at these pictures from the bottom up. And then the way to look at it, there's 3 different views. So there's the side view, lateral view, anterior view, which is the front view, and the posterior view, which is the back view. So I just was going to walk through. It's kind of embarrassing, you know, it's my own body here that we're dissecting today, but I just wanted to share this with you because when I did go to get my certification in personal training, it was pretty eye-opening because learning some of these different kinetic chain points and being able to work with clients, I've been able to make like real changes in people's bodies. And it's kind of blown my mind a bit. And it is possible, you know, if you have a bit of knowledge and if you don't work with a personal trainer, you could do a little Google searching and make changes in your body too. So I thought this would be kind of fun to share. So let's look first. We're going to look, I know it's not that organized, but we're going to look at the middle picture of me. So it says anterior. So the middle picture of me, and then we're working from the bottom up. So ideally, and again, I'm not, my body is very much not perfect, but you look from the bottom up because a lot of dysfunction happens from the feet up and everything's connected. So something messed up with your ankles could go all the way up to your shoulder. So ideally, from the front view, the feet would be forward, and then your ankles would be in line with your knees, which would be in line with your hips. So that's what, like this line here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but so just that's what that line is there. So drawing all the way up, ideally that's where it would be. So the feet and ankles will line up with the knees, which line up with the hips. And then there's different distortion patterns, like different ways that people's body could be. So for instance, your feet could turn out quite a bit naturally. As you can see, mine do turn out a bit. And that means that there's different muscle imbalances and weaknesses. Like I know I have weak inner thigh muscles, so I've been like working on that. So that would like naturally bring my feet straighter. You could have your knees bowing out or your knees caving in. And then there's certain things you can do to kind of work to improve that. You could have your ankles caving out. You could have your feet kind of caving in. So there's different things that could be going on here, all the way up to the hips. And then the hips, you want them level ideally, but you can have one hip up, one hip down, and that could be connected to different parts of your body. And then there's this line along the midline that goes all the way up to the center of your head, and then the shoulders off to the side. So ideally the shoulders are level, and that is the anterior, so just that front view. So if you did ever take a picture of yourself and work it to draw out some of these lines, you could identify different patterns and be like, oh, I never realized that this one hip was up or this was down, or that my knees were bowed out, or that my feet turned out. And so there's, different ways that you can work. Like there's a lot that you are able to change by, doing some sort of specialized program. If you have tighter muscles, what you would want to do is work to really release those ones and do like foam rolling or self-care massage. And then if you have weaker muscles, again, depending on what you find, you'd be wanting to really focus on those. So there's a lot of different protocols and things you can do, but that is the front view. And so when I first work with a client, I do pictures like this and just try to see if I can find any like additional ways to help them beyond why they signed up for working with a personal trainer. From this side view, so this one here on the left, and it's the same idea, you would be wanting to have your ankles lined up with your knees, and then your hips right there. So hips right above. So ideally stacked one on top of the other. And then your shoulder under your ear. So it's very common in today's society to have the head jutting forward. So there's even a name for that. That's tech neck or upper cross syndrome. And then there's like certain muscles and exercises you can do and stretches that you can work to really bring that back. And so there are a lot of things you can do. So if you did ever go ahead and take these pictures, it's you're not doomed for certain postures. There's often ways to work through it, but that is ideally how it would be from the side view. And then from the back view, very similar to the front view, start again. So always starting from the bottom, you'd want your feet going forward. You'd want, if you're looking at your Achilles tendon, you'd want those like straight as opposed to like caved out or caved in. And then again, you'd want your knees stacked over the ankles, and then that right lined up with those hips. You'd want those hips level. And then going up the spine, straight spine, shoulders in line with one another, and ideally the head center. So this is like a quick snapshot, and obviously it's not very professionally done. It's just done here on my phone, but I wanted to show that, if you are looking for ways, if you're like constantly have knee problems or ankle problems or back problems, and if you haven't gone to a personal trainer or a chiropractor or some sort of professional, like there's resources out there that can help. Like I've gone to chiropractors that have done this for me too. And then, try to work through different things. Like I've had so many injuries and I have lots of stuff going on with my body. But you're not doomed. I think my goal of this part is that if you feel doomed in your body, there's just a lot that you can do. And if you find, the support that you need to work through it, a lot of times there's solutions. And I always just thought when I first started, go back. I just thought this was a really like cool way to look at the body. And I know in the willpower class, Rochelle talks a lot about the kinetic chain. And that's when I first started really thinking about like how the body is built, how it's meant to move. And when one part of the body is off, it's like often connected to different parts of your body. So it's just kind of nice to be in tune with your body, what's going on, and, do what you can to make it better for yourself. So you reduce those aches and pains and you are more functionally able to move around and use your body the way it's meant to be used. So This is, again, when I first start with clients, this is one of the many things that we do, but I thought that this would be kind of a fun thing to bring in here to the Wellness Cafe. And that's it for this slide. Lauren and I were keeping it simple today, but I did want to share this. And then at the end, we can open it up for questions. So let's move it on to Lauren. And she's got a great thing that she does one-on-one with clients that she will walk us through. So I'll bring her to.
Hello. And Maria, my slide, we don't need till the end. So we'll just chat and then I'll let you know. And it's kind of a wrap-up slide.
Okay.
All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you again. I saw a lot of you this morning. And we're just super excited to be back with the Wellness Cafe today with all of you. So Maria, that was super interesting. Thank you for sharing that. And what I'm going to talk about today is relatable, I think, no, I don't know, but to what I believe is to many of us, just from working one-on-one with clients and my own thoughts and many friends that I've talked to. And we're talking today a little bit about learning to respect your body in the body that you are here and now. And if you ever have those hard body moments when you're just kind of nitpicking yourself or you're just not feeling good, can anyone relate to that? Where you just kind of get stuck in this negative spiral of like, oh my gosh, my legs, my stomach, like you just don't feel good. So today we're going to talk about when you're having those moments, how to get out of that. And maybe it might be a process, right? Because it doesn't change overnight, but when you're in those really rough moments and you're not feeling good about yourself, some things that you can do, and we'll work on it together. Or I'm going to kind of give you an example and then I'm going to tell you how to do it and I'm going to have you practice it. So it's really just a practical tool. And I thought that would be good because I want you to walk away with something that you'd be able to use today if you needed to. So anyways, we live in a very body conscious society, as you probably all know, that there's, you see what the ideal body looks like, how you should look, how you should eat. And a lot of that is pretty much unattainable for most people, unless you're really kind of genetically built that way, or you're maybe doing really unhealthy habits, really over exercising, really restricting your diet, doing things that aren't in your best interest to attain that look, and then really trying to maintain that can be really difficult. So part one is just kind of remembering that we all have different genetics and to embrace ourselves as we are. When we don't respect our body, we constantly think about it too. Like we're just constantly thinking about it, focusing on it, worrying about it. That increases your food worry. It increases the want to diet cycle, to binge. And it's just kind of this like wheel that keeps going and just kind of takes over. And nobody wants to do that. So when I say respect your body, that doesn't mean that you have to love it. Like maybe you aren't happy with it. It's pretty hard to say, I love it, but you can respect it. So that's a really good word that I like to use. And what does that mean? It just means taking care of yourself, meeting your needs. So eating well, moving your body in ways that feel good, dressing comfortably, getting good sleep. So just doing things that are your basic self-care needs, right? We need to do that. If we're starving ourselves, that's not taking care of it. If we're not moving at all, that's not taking care of it. If you're working out 5 hours a day, unless you're like training and you need to do that, that's really not taking care of it as well. So respecting. So those are just a few things that we can do to respect our bodies. Studies have actually shown that the more you focus on your body, the more likely you are to have shame and anxiety around it. And also you're less likely to pick up on your internal body cues. So I've kind of talked about that in some of our previous meetings of what is that, like being able to tune into hunger and fullness and some of just those other cues, such as like even going to the restroom or feeling off or what anything that's happening on the inside, being able to respond to that. So you kind of lose touch with those as well. So I asked you a question kind of in the beginning of this, but I want you to think. You're welcome to type in the chat. You don't have to, because I know this is personal. But how often would you say that you compare your body to others? So either your body checking, kind of comparing, like you go into a room or a party and you kind of check on yourself, you check on everyone else. How do you compare to how other people look? How hard are you on yourself? Do you start to nitpick how you look? So these kind of have different terms. So like body checking, body bashing, comparison. And when you start to say it like that, it starts to sound like, I don't know, those terms just make me sad. And yes, you're welcome to chime in, or you can just think of these things on your own, whatever you feel best with. Yeah. So I had a feeling a lot of us could relate to this. And if you're thinking, I don't do that, I do it as well. So I think it's just kind of natural, especially if you're doing things that aren't feeling your best. I don't know if you've ever been like on a vacation, or you're not eating well, or you're like taking a break and you just start to feel kind of like off, and they start to get worse. So there's been instances where I can notice that gets worse than others. Kristen W, good for you. She said she's too old for that. It's a waste of time, right? Waste of mental space. I would love that if everyone could say, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So that is my wish for everyone that's like, nah, I don't do that anymore. Oh, I love that, Sharon. Okay, and I'm going to read this out loud too, because people that watch the recording can't see the chat, and I do think that that's a really good point. She said she lost a dear friend to cancer at 50, and from that day on, her philosophy is, I got to live and Julie didn't. I love my body. And that is really powerful. I love that, Sharon. Thank you for sharing that. So it sounds like some do and some don't. And there's might be something in between where, yeah, I do sometimes, but I try not to. So thank you for chiming in with that. So what we're going to do is the first step. So there's going to be 5 different steps, but just I went out of all of these, and we're going to have a slide at the end to go over it. But I want you to remember the first couple. So the first step is to recognize that you're doing it. Okay, so recognize that you're comparing your body to someone else and it doesn't feel good. So it can either be to someone else or just kind of in your own mind, like, oh my gosh, I'm body bashing myself right now. This is not helping me. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, and this is really the tool that you're going to use, is to pause and narrate your surroundings. I know this might sound kind of silly, but it's a really good way to distract yourself from those moments when you're like in it. And I'm going to give you like a real life example. When my family went to Hawaii in February, I was sitting around a lot more, having more drinks, eating out. Like I just wasn't feeling as great. And I would still exercise, but not like as much when I got home. And I was kind of feeling that way. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be doing this. So as I was like running, I was literally like, oh, I see the palm trees. I see the flowers. Those are beautiful flowers. Look at the ocean. And you just start to distract yourself by narrating what you see and what you hear. And you could say it out loud. You could just do it. I mean, it's kind of, I guess it would depend what situation you're in. Maybe that wouldn't be appropriate. But if you're home, the key right here is to practice this when you are feeling either like neutral or you're not in one of those tough positions. So like maybe you're feeling good right now, or you don't really have anything going on and you're just sitting in your room. I'm gonna have you practice, but like right now I'm looking at my coffee cup. I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking at my water bottle. I hear the birds outside. I see a vase of flowers in front of me. So practice before you come into those hard moments so that it's easier to use. And over time, you will notice, hopefully, that less thoughts arise or that they don't last as long. So maybe sometimes you notice, oh my gosh, I'm just like ruminating in these thoughts forever. Hopefully they will become less frequent or a shorter time period as you start to distract yourself. Step, let's see, 3, just reminding yourself that you don't know anybody else's story. Okay, so you might think, I don't know, maybe you have this vision that you see someone and you assume their life is just perfect because of the way that they look. And you have to remind yourself, you don't know how they got there. Maybe they're born that way. Maybe they had an illness. Maybe they've gone to really extreme measures to look like that. Maybe they have an eating disorder. You just don't know based on anybody's size what their story is. So it's just a good reminder to kind of bring you back, right? Step 4, and I know this is a lot, which is why I said steps 1 and 2 are my like key ones to start with. Yes, on number 3, right? And that goes for the other way. I'm talking about someone that you might look at as being like ideal fitness or size, but it could be the other way as well, right? Like you don't know how anyone got their body size at all. So step number 4 would be naming 3 positive attributes about yourself. And before you like roll your eyes or go, oh my gosh. It's a good practice to have because we want to stop placing so much value on just what's on the outside and really what is valuable on the inside. And this is also good. This is also part of that distraction. So are you intelligent? Are you a good listener? Are you a good friend? Are you a hard worker? Are you funny, kind, giving? All of these other things that are more valuable than just about the way that you look, right? You're minimizing your other really important, most important qualities when you're placing so much self-worth on how you look. So 3 positive attributes. And I like just 3 because I think that's doable. You can make a long list if you like. So I want you to, so when you start getting negative in your head, what are 3 positive things about me? Okay. And then number 5, and this one's just kind of a wrap up of like, I'm going to quit the body check game. I'm going to be nice to myself. I'm going to appreciate what my body can do, right? That's the body that you have right here, right now. And like Sharon said, like she referred to her friend, like you've got your body, you've got this, and it is all you have. It houses your mind, it houses your spirit. And oh, Mary, I'm so glad you needed this today. And so we need to take care of it and respect it, right? Again, you don't have to go back to loving it. I would love to see everyone get to that point, but that can feel really difficult. So these are the 5. Hopefully you're able to write those down. But I would like everyone right now to kind of just start, or I'm just going to give you like a minute to just pause and narrate your surroundings so that you can just practice it. And then you can kind of report in like how that was, or so I'll just be quiet for a minute. And you just, what do you see and what do you hear? Thanks, Maria. And I love all your input. All right. Did that seem easy enough? Right? We've always got things that we can look at or listen to. All right. Would anyone like to chime in? Either we've got a few minutes, so either chime in on how that practice went or how you felt about it. If this is something that you've struggled with, I liked what Evelyn said too. She said, I also compare myself to my previous self. But you know, I think that's what's really tough, is going back, right? And a lot of you are nodding your head at that. We're not going to be the same at 20 as we are at 30, 40, 50, 60. So embracing your right here and your right now. And that's not saying you can't maybe change things, but accepting the here and now. Kristen W, you guys, it's just the funniest. Yeah, those wrinkles, I know. Yeah. Oh, well, what does that really change? I figure nothing. So we've all got our things. All right, would anyone like to chime in on that? Or if they think that would be a useful tool? You might find that you do this 10 times a day, and that is okay. Just remember steps 1 and 2. Oh, Andy, that's interesting. Do you want to expand on that? I'm curious, if you don't mind.
No, I just, I think from having the cancer and going through all that, and, you know, having a double mastectomy, I'm gonna cry, but it's, and my hair isn't growing. And so it's just like, you know, it's not so much my body, but it's what's going through. I don't look like I look like. I'm not like what I look like. And it doesn't seem to get, I mean, it is getting better, but it's just something you don't think you're going to ever have, and it's there. So I'm just feeling that way this right now. I mean, I don't want to go out because I have to wear a hat, or, you know, it's a lot to have, you know. I think not having hair is a, you know, not having a breast, you know, it's just, it's just difficult. I don't want to make everybody feel bad, but
No, I don't think you're making anybody feel bad. It's a good reminder. I mean, I know that's really tough. And it's a good, you might feel the same way for some of you, like just not recognizing yourself anymore, like feeling one way and then looking in the mirror and not like relating to that. But yes, everyone's sending you lots of hugs. And yes, Sharon said you show up to class and that's amazing. So proud of you.
thank you.
It says making you feel grateful, me to appreciate so many things. Yep. Yes, and Fran can relate. And so can Tracy. Thank you for sharing that too, Andy. I'm sure that wasn't easy.
No.
But yes, lots of hugs to you. You are amazing. And you did come out on the other side. I know, I'm sure it's still difficult. But we are glad that you're here. All right, we have a couple more minutes. Would anyone else like to share anything? And I appreciate the honesty too. I mean, we don't know what's going on in anybody else's head, right? Or you don't know how someone feels just by looking at them as well. So I appreciate that.
I think for me, sorry, can I talk?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's gotten worse with the pandemic, with working from home. And I look at myself every day on camera, like, obvious. I mean, I'm sitting here at my desk right now, and this is my personal computer over here. My work computer's over here. And it's like, I'm just on Zoom calls all the time. And all I do is look at myself, and all I do is criticize myself. And, you know, we have a really relaxed work environment. So like, if I'm in a meeting, my kitchen is just kind of right out the door. And if I'm in a meeting, I'll just like, I'm gonna go get some coffee, and I walk out. And then if I come back in the room and I can see myself coming back in, and I'm like, oh, I'm fat, I look terrible. Who told you to put this outfit on this morning? That was a bad idea. You know, like I do that whole thing, like, you know, and then I sit down and I'm like, oh, all I am is boobs. And, you know, it's like, and I think it's gotten worse. Really, I honestly think it's gotten worse through the pandemic. Because when I was going to the office every day, I didn't look at myself this much. I mean, really, honestly, I did not. I mean, I would look at myself in the mirror before I walked out the door to make sure that everything I had on looked okay. And then I didn't have like something on my shirt. But anyway, that's just an observation for me.
I think that's a really good point and very true.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you want to share, Daniela?
No, I just want to agree 100%. Like you just hit the nail on the head. It's like all the time you're looking at yourself. You're just like, oh gosh. And it's hard. I agree. I don't know how you move past that though, of like, you know, other people are talking in a meeting and then you're looking at yourself and you're supposed to be focusing on what they're saying, but then you're like, oh my gosh, I got bags under my eyes, or oh my gosh, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does make it worse, because the same goes for like when there's like mirrors around anywhere, you're walking by like windows and you check yourself out, you know what I mean? Like the more that you have of that, the more those thoughts come in because it's in front of you. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I could say, and you know, I would say use this tool, but I think that it's hard because you also have to like focus on your work and you've got all these millions of things. But if you notice it get bad, I would probably step away and try to do that. And some of those steps that we talked about. Go for it.
That is a fascinating concept. And the mirrors and the Zoom, and the thing for me also was the Marco Polo. Like, I think mirrors, I know, Lauren, the mirrors, it's like, I don't know what I look like from the outside looking in. So when I see a mirror, it's like, what do I look like moving through the world? And now it's magnified everywhere, right? With the Zoom and stuff and the Marco Polo. And then I also then got to hear my voice and see my inflections and all that. But the good thing is that I also got to see things about myself that I knew that I could change, and I needed to make some changes. So there were some behaviors happening within myself that I needed to change. And that reflection was a positive thing for me, but it was internal. It wasn't body. But fascinating concept. I'm loving that one.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing that, Kristen. And I always think too, like if someone isn't, I mean, if someone's not going to love you, like I always think like, is someone not going to be my friend because I have more wrinkles or because I'm this or that? Well, then that's silly, you know? So trying to just reflect back, like, what is that really going to change if I changed myself? But it is a work in progress and you just got to keep working at it. So I would definitely try some of these tools. And hopefully over your time, you'll be able to like get out of your head and for as long and kind of move past it because it's not a good place to be in. Well, thanks so much for sharing, everyone. Our half hour went by really fast. Yes, be our own friend. I love that, Mary. Yes, respond to yourself like you would a friend. That is also really, really good advice. Like, would you talk to your friend that way as they were sitting in front of you? No, you would not. And you got to be your own best friend, right? So I don't know. I think we might have to expand on this at one of our next wellness cafes because I really, this went by a lot really fast, and our time has come to an end. But and you know, that's something else I need to work on. I say a lot, so just pause. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone, and I hope this was helpful. And oh, Cheryl says Zoom has a hide self view button. Would that help some of you? Possibly. Kristen says yes. Oh, thanks, Coach B. I hope you're having fun. I think you were on a anniversary getaway. I don't know where you are at the moment, but thanks, Lynn. Well, I don't know where the hell the hide self view button is, but maybe we can Google that. Yes, Kristen.
It's the three buttons where we mute and unmute each other
Oh,
on your little screen. I didn't know that existed either after all these years. That's funny.
where are
Great
you seeing
tip,
that?
Cheryl.
Oh, at the top.
Do you see it?
Hold
In
on,
your
I'm gonna try
square?
real quick. Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's under that little the three dots next to the mute button.
But then how do you get it back? Like I just disappeared. Now where? That wasn't good.
That I don't know. I just saw it and I'm just like, maybe that would help. I don't know how to get out of it though.
Okay, so I will Google that.
There it is. It's on the top right because I couldn't find it either. It's back in your view on the top right.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Look at what we learned. Look at what we
I was
learned.
panicking too. I think I like seeing me. I don't mean that.
That was odd.
I don't mean that
was-
in a weird way.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but all right. Yes, I will let you all go. Thank you so much for coming today, everybody.
Thank
and
you.
if either of these struck a chord with you, please reach out to me or Maria, and we would love to work with you a little bit more. All right. Happy Friday.
Maria. Good job,
Bye,
Lauren.
team.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.